Okay, hello YouTube. We're doing this one live. Just gonna do a tier list of the current Season 18 map rotation. And the reason for this is because they added a quitter penalty and then they disclosed exactly what they're doing with the maps in terms of weighting. Weighting meaning how often it appears in a given play session. So, Disjunction and Cathedral of Dusk increased weighting, which explains why I see Disjunction all the time. Today, I played more Osu, circle clicking game, than I did Destiny 2 because I kept getting Disjunction and I would just leave. I don't want to play Disjunction. But let's go through all of these in order and put them in the correct tier list. Now, I should mention maps and modes are equally important. So, Disjunction with Rift, it plays pretty good. Disjunction in Survival, I think it's alright. Disjunction anywhere else, I want out. So, for that reason, I'm going to put Disjunction in the F tier. As in, I don't have fun. I should add this here. Opinion of what I find most fun. Not talking pure competitive or anything. I don't find Disjunction fun. So that is why it's an F tier. The reason I don't find Disjunction fun is because in the control playlist, my team does not understand how to play this map to win, and it leads to having to run 30 seconds from the edge of spawn to get back to the action and fix my team's mistake. And what is their mistake? Maybe I should pull up a cartography map of this, but maybe I could also show you in-game. Regardless, B flag. Let's go show you in-game. That's going to work way better. This is just going to be a long-form video. I'll keep talking about it, though. My teammates want to scout rifle the other people on the other side instead of capping B flag and getting power ammo. And so it leads to the enemy team getting double the score per kill, which usually leads to me getting mercied if I'm not playing up. And so, Disjunction, I dislike seeing the Witch Queen world just because I dislike Disjunction that much. A secondary thing, let's call it shapes. The little floor textures and the art style things that make her character not move in an intuitive way. Disjunction has a lot of those shapes where you accidentally strafe too fast, now you're considered in air. But the aerial effectiveness penalty will kick in and you'll start missing shots just because there happened to be a log or something. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the more I play Disjunction, the more I will like it in a competitive sense. But in a fun sense right now, absolutely not. It is not worth playing to win on that map. I just want to leave it and take my competitive penalty and play a different game entirely until it's up. I will go on... Let's do Warlock, because Warlock has Icarus Dash. I can show off cool stuff. Okay, so I want to show Disjunction. We'll go in order here. Ultimate map video. Oh, look! Disjunction is the default map in private matches, so... It used to be Altar of Flame, if I recall, which was convenient, because anytime you needed to test something... Message Drew. Okay. So obviously this is also the day before it's uploaded, or morning before it's uploaded, night before it's uploaded. Here we go. As soon as you see this on the screen, this is what I do. I go change character, confirm, and then it says, "How dare you leave a competitive match?" And then I get banned for 30 minutes. And it's just gonna repeat that. So, let's pay attention where I spawn. We can get the stopwatch on the screen right now. Right? Start. This is with Icarus Dash. Not perfect skating. I'm not using slopes. This is normal player movement. And time. That's not counting me dying. and right to get to the action of B flag. This is where I gotta be. That's why I dislike this map. Because every time I die due to my teammates not playing to win, that just adds up and adds up and adds up. Time not in combat. Not very enjoyable to me. Then we have all these weird shapes. Textures. Things like this. You try to strafe and... Trust. They will come up when you least expect them. Let me show you what my teammates do wrong on this map. What my teammates do wrong is for some reason, they will cap C immediately, and then they will go out here, and they will challenge A flag. They're like a Spanish firing squad. They all load the muskets together. Someone will get bold and push over here, and then they get sniped or something, and then they spawn all the way in the back, 30 seconds away. That's why I dislike this map. But let's move on to the next. So, Cathedral of Dusk. I have warmed up to this one. Let's load it up. It is terrible in Rift, by the way. And I'll show you why it's terrible in Rift. The TLDR is that the choke points are too narrow to the point where neither team is going to score if people have zoning nades. Or barricades, or anything like that. The radar and the HUD show exactly where the spark runner's going. The spark runner glows, so as soon as you identify the spark runner, grenade goes in narrow hallway, and you just can't push forward. And there is a slightly open corridor on each side, but your entire enemy team is just gonna lane that open corridor. So the spark runner just cannot push in. So what happens on Cathedral of Dusk Rift is I get the spark, I start clearing the enemy team, and I'm wondering, where the hell is my team? They're sitting at the midpoint or in my spawn, too afraid to push into the enemy spawn to clear it so that I can score with the spark. It makes this map really unplayable. This is narrow choke point 1, this is narrow choke point 2, and then this is the open area where people lane and prevent you from going with the spark. So it feels hopeless to me to play this map on Rift. I wish it would open up a little bit more. Now, in Control, I don't mind this. There is a turnback zone up here, which is interesting. I guess they don't want you standing on this. But I do glacier up here a lot just to get a head glitch on people. I like that power ammo is in an exposed position. It's also away from B flag, so it creates like a tough decision. I like that this map has longer sight lines. I do like that about Disjunction 2, by the way. It's not all bad in Disjunction. This feels familiar to me from Destiny 1, so I don't feel like I'm learning a new map entirely. But there are new things about Destiny 2, like Heat Rises and Glacier Nade, that might be problematic for spawn killing on this map. I just don't have enough hours under my belt with this map. So, with all that being said and done, I think I'm putting it in the B tier. So, Cathedral. Is that how you spell it? Someone's gonna roast me here. Just copy paste. Can't get it wrong. So this would be one of the longer range maps I don't mind seeing. Okay, moving on. Fragment. That was a new one. It's a medium range map, but it does have some long sight lines. I have a couple complaints about this map, though I do like that it offers elevation. I recently posted a sarcastic commentary of floating around with Dawnblade on this map, and it actually had a lot of interesting sight lines for aerial play. I don't know if I'm going to do this with every map, just load in, because some of them, like Convergence, y'all will know exactly what I'm complaining about without showing you, but hey. I'll grab a snipe here just so you can see. Oh, speaking of funny aerial stuff, we were farming the Sisters encounter in Kingsfall, and I was using Salvation's Grip to skip a platform. It was so funny that it ended up being really efficient and consistent. So I might have to bust out Salvation's Grip for the rest of this season. Way too fun of a gun. Okay, good thing I spawned here. This is my problem when I queue into this map. Even with skill-based matchmaking, my team always thinks it's a good idea to sit right here and just stare at B flag while I do all the work to clear out B and capture it. It's like, cool. You gotta pick. You got one of them. Now what? So they stand on this bridge and just don't contribute. That's my complaint with this map. But that's more of a player problem than a map problem. So this map would rank pretty highly for me. I like that this map has good elevation differences. This is a contested area, but you can see that I can't see other people's feet through this sightline unless I like peek for it. This is a great area to glacier. You can bait people into overextending into your team's sightlines, even if they scout rifle on these pillars or something. Power ammo isn't as exposed as I would like it to be, but it does get naded pretty heavily. There's a shortcut area that is very, very, very dangerous to cross. Usually Titans put up a barricade here and you just can't do anything about it. I think overall I like it. Fragment grew on me. I'm going to put this in the A tier. As far as the mode that Fragment plays best on, survival's fun, control is fun. I like it. Twilight Gap. This might be the first F tier. I'm going to show you a lot of out of bounds spots too. Remember, this is off a fun tier list. Like, do I have fun on this game mode? On this map? Not is it competitively viable? Oh, sorry, Disjunction was the first F tier. Twilight Gap. So again, we're talking fun. You know what's not fun? Getting Synthesept meleeed. Getting Ophidian Aspect meleeed. Having non-contributor teammates be in the back of the map. This side I prefer because my teammates are encouraged to participate a little bit more because there's not an obvious place to sit back. Sometimes you get people sitting in this doorway looking up at that shipping crate, but a lot of the time they don't. They get the memo, they go to B flag, or they go over here. But let me show you what I hate players doing on this map. What I get enemy teams or my own teammates doing, habit of all players, is they sit on this catwalk and never move. Some get as bold as to put on a scout rifle and hide over here. It's cool and all, if you have B flag. But a lot of the teams that do this don't capture B flag, and so their point multiplier isn't good enough. In Trials, I don't really like this map at all. Because it adds too much melee RNG gunfights. Of just like, is your melee going to short stop? Is someone going to super lunge across the map? I'll show you a couple out of bounds. So first lip. This is the area I would avoid on this map. Every time I slide this, I get sniped by somebody standing right there. Or if there's red on my radar, I just get Ophidian meleeed. Power ammo is in an okay position. I don't have complaints there. This isn't even all the spots on the map, by the way. There's just a couple. You can get really creative with how you use and abuse map locations. And then the final one I think I want to mention is the wires. You can get off to the cliff area over there without getting a turnback zone. And then there's also a weird area under the stairs, but you get locked out of playing the map. And then final one right here. Oh, you know what? There's a great one in Party Room. I use this all the time. This one is someone pops a panic roaming super. Okay. Let's crouch it out. Wait it out. So this one, I don't really have a lot of reasons of why I put it in F tier other than it's an unenjoyable match for most of the times I queue it due to non-contributors on Catwalk and having to force the melee fights for power ammo and never having a teammate follow me to B. It's just a bad experience a lot of the times. Again, opinion, fun tier list. I know I get team balanced more than the average player, so it is what it is. Moving on, we have Rusted Lands. I think I'm going to put that in A tier. Rusted Lands, I notice, has a side bias for control. I think having C flag is way better than having A flag. And it's kind of the same reason as Disjunction, except it's one-sided. A flag has to run farther to get to the action, and they have to deal with a choke point to get out of their own flag. Whereas C spawns on an open beach with a sandcastle that provides elevation. And that sandcastle looks into B flag from your home flag. And there's some crazy spots outside of it. So I like the way this plays, but like Dead Cliffs, it is heavily weighted towards one side of the map. And unless your team knows that, it might not be an enjoyable match. So let's first talk about the non-contributors. The non-contributors hop up on the silo, and they just take the sniper scout duel the entire game to the top of that truck. That is, they have one thing on their mind, and it's disgusting, and that's not playing the flags. Let's say one for the comment section here. In the control game mode, your objective is not to capture flags. It's to get control over the map and force advantageous spawns for your team and bad spawns for your opponents. You can spawn trap them. You have to slay out to get map control. Once you have map control, then you get flags for a point multiplier. You get power ammo. You set up a spawn trap. That's how you play control. Simply capping a flag doesn't work because good players just throw a nade on a flag and yeah, you just can't stand on a flag and have 4 people slide a corner and instant delete you. You have to put those 4 gamers in the spawn screen so you can free up time to capture B flag. And so when I say a non-contributor, it's the nicest way I can put somebody who doesn't want to push that win condition. Be very careful standing on C flag at the beginning. You can get cloud striked very, very quickly by a Dawnblade moving up. I want to demonstrate A flag and how far you have to go to get to B. So if you're on A flag spawn and you die, you spawn like pretty much right here. And so you could go out to the silo and jump, but the problem is you'll probably get hit by somebody on C flag or the beach before you even get out of your spawn. So you got to stay low to the ground if you're going to do this. Stay low to the ground, go through this area. But what most players do is they go through this choke point right here. And what happens is somebody on the enemy team will overextend, throw a nade right here, and you're out of the game for that entire duration of that nade. Or they'll barricade up or something and pretty much just like lock you in this corner and you can't move out once you're spawn trapped that hard. So now look, here we go again. My entrance to B. Choke point, choke point, choke point. So if they're set up on B flag, I'm not getting through. There is nothing I can do. Not even heat rises can help because there's a low ceiling barrier. So from the enemy perspective, they will be set up on sandcastle, on C flag. They can stand up on any of this area here. They can throw a nade at a choke point. And now you just can't push B anymore. They get to retreat into an area that still has sightlines on B. That's why C is so advantageous on this map. There's a reason people call this suicide tunnel. It's really difficult to get that power ammo unless you have a barricade or a glacier. Pretty much what'll tell you if you're allowed to grab that power ammo is the kill feed. If you see a bunch of people in the kill feed, just go for the power. Alright, so I will show you one spot I discovered the other day. You have to barely float onto this edge and you can stand there. I discovered it during Eruption by accident. It was pretty funny. And there you go. You can see B flag. So despite it being a C-weighted map, I like it on Rumble, I like it in Control, and I like it in Survival. The flag cap right here is kind of questionable, because what is A side supposed to do if the flag cap is here? They pretty much have one option. Since they don't want to go through these choke points, they have to go all the way around to C. So it makes them a little more predictable if you ask me. So I think the survival flag should move somewhere else. I don't know where exactly it could go. But that's my complaint on this map, is it's weighted towards C on all the game modes. Okay, moving on. Distant Shore. This is one I have really grown to like. Not quite S tier, but I'm gonna put it A tier. Let's load it up. Same thing. I can't tell if this map has a beneficial flag. I would like to say A flag is the weaker flag, because you have to jump onto B flag to take B flag from A. So that's where I lean. If we're talking like a matchup chart, maybe 60-40. Whereas Rusted Lands I just showed you, let's call that one a 70-30. And let's call Dead Cliffs a 90-10. For the beneficial flag versus the bad flag. The reason this map has grown on me is because it has some very interesting sight lines. The salty spittoon of this map is not B flag, it's this area right here. Called the River Head Glitch. This is all hand cannon territory. It's one slide away from being a hand cannon duel in almost every angle in this area. So you can absolutely make a hand cannon work. Where you start to wish you had a pulse rifle or a scout rifle is when people play outer boats. When people play B flag to beach. Those type of things. Very interesting loadout options on this map, which is why I like it. There's also a lot of finesse you can do off the map under B flag. Again, this is a fun tier list, not a competitive tier list. In Survival and Trials, I like the way this map plays. I know a lot of over-the-map nade spots to handle zone. I hate this dark area because of Synthesep Ophidian type trades. But I can kind of avoid this area entirely by just going around B flag or through Shrine. What else? Triple jump is my friend here. I will drop down low and triple jump onto what we call the Godheady. Hold Godheady to dark. I will show you a Hood Classic from Destiny 1. This one's called Bitch Rock. I didn't come up with the name. But in this game, there's some grass, so it's easier to get shot at rather than to shoot through this, because you will be highlighted on their screen. Like, it'll show your health bar, and you gotta shoot at a blind target. They'll just shoot your head. It'll magnetize. So, definitely don't take that angle anymore. You can climb out of the map somewhere over here. I forget exactly where, just haven't done it in a while. If you are playing Trials of Osiris or its power round, and power is right here or right here, elbow is the strongest position to hold if you have a pulse rifle or a long range weapon. This is gonna win you games, being able to control this and put good damage in. That's really my only tip for this map. I like it because I feel like I can use a variety of loadouts on this map and not feel like hard punished. What's another one before I leave? And then I'm not sure if you can still clamber this one. you might be able to. Nope, I guess you can't. Okay. Moving on to the next one. Endless Vale, our first S tier. I love this map. I don't even really have to show you why. There's a variety of elevation. You get into the action quick. It is spawn trappable pretty hard. But that's just the price you pay to play Endless Vale against good opponents sometimes. B flag is the salty spittoon. If you go to the hallways, it's all going to be Ophidian trades, but you don't have to play that way. You can play the fields, and the fields offer some loadout variety. You can succeed with the scout rifle on Endless Vale without being a non-contributor. I think that's why I like it so much. You can slay the hell out with the scout on Endless Vale because there's a lot of angles you can hold where you can kill the spawning players once you establish the spawn trap. Just goated map. It's one of the beta maps, and what's funny is I'm also going to give Javelin 4 the S treatment when we get to it. Currently, that map's in Fortnite. I haven't seen it in Destiny 2, but we'll see. Fortress. I'm going to remind myself about Fortress before I place it on the tier list. I'm guessing this might be a C or a B just because I don't feel like I have anything positive or really negative to say about it. I feel like if Countdown made a return, I would love to see this map on it. Let me start thinking about the next ones. Oh, Vostok, we're going to have some fighting words. Be prepared.
Control. No zones means no victory. Take them.
What they could do to fix a lot of my problems with the maps is to change how far you spawn out and maybe some of the spawning rules, spawning algorithm, whatever they use to determine where you spawn based on the enemy's waiting. That system needs to be looked at for game mode specifically. In Rumble, it especially needs to be looked at, because in Rumble, I know a spawn farm on almost every map. Rumble deserves to be 8-player Rumble to make it so you can't spawn farm as hard and always have someone shooting you in the back. I don't like 6-man Rumble for a lot of the map rotation. If I recall, the opening spawn favors Beach because they can get to B flag first and then use grenades to choke out Cave before they're allowed to leave C. So there is some like slight bias towards Beach start, but I don't know if that's necessarily what you want to hold. I like the elevation option over here. I always use this turnback zone to get the drop on people. You can get some pretty nasty spawn kills with heat rises on this map. Jumping off like this rock and killing the beach spawners who will be like right about here. So you can definitely do that. Since this is a fun tier list, I'm going to say that I have some good moments on here and I rarely have bad moments. So I'm going to put it in B tier. Just again, it's an alright map. So move on to the next. Next is Radiant Cliffs. I don't think I enjoy this one for Control. I don't really enjoy it for Rumble either. As far as the sightlines and weapons you can get away with, it does offer a variety of loadouts. It does have some nice elevations. I think I would like to see the flags maybe shift positions on that map. Power ammo spawns outside at the tree, if I recall. And then I think I'm just going to load it up. Should have been doing that while I was talking. There is a non-contributor issue on Radiant Cliffs. And there's 2 areas where it happens. It happens in the meadow, looking at the cinnamon roll. And it happens on this area I call goose, because if you like fly overhead on the map, it looks like a goose head. I will show you both those in a sec though, so I'm not just talking out of my ass. It's kind of like Twilight Gap, where it could be a good map, but the way people play on it makes me not have fun, even though it is a good map. Okay, so we spawned in the vault. I'm going to the goose area. This is it. The spawn waiting here is terrible. The entire enemy team can be right here, and you're still going to spawn up where I'm standing. And every teammate decides, oh, I'm spawning here. Time to sit still and not move. And that's Radiant Cliffs. Now let me go show you the other side, the other non-contributor. The other non-contributor angle is spawning behind this rock. Enemy teams will be set up on Cinnamon Roll and Elbow. You're going to spawn right here, and teammate thinks, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. This looks good. If they wanted to lane like this and contribute, there's a place to do that. As lame as it is, the second floor of hut to hold power ammo is the place to be laning. This right here. Holding a tree, making sure that you get power ammo and the other team does not. If you want to lane, that's the place to do it. Here, you're kind of just being free kills to the enemy team. They're just going to clap you. I feel like I consistently get B flagged by just crouching right here. Being a hard kill. Other than that, it's a fun tier list. I just don't have a lot of great memories on this map. More bad than good. More disappointment than good stuff. Okay, so I think I put that on C tier then. Moving on. Pacifica. This one's also going to go in C tier. Even though I like this map in 6s, survival ruins it for me. Every single round of survival Pacifica against a good team almost goes to time. You fight for initial control of the power ammo, which is where B flag is in survival. And whoever wins that wins the round, because you have to push them for life count. If life count's equal, power ammo sits still, and they wait on the flag, which will spawn outside. When it spawns, they will move outside and use power ammo to win the round. That's how it always goes on Pacifica. And if you don't believe me, I am loading an old YouTube video that I don't think I ever uploaded. Let's see. Content. Pacifica. It's gonna be in my clips. So let me search Pacifica. Nope, did not appear. But anyway. It was like a season 16 video and a season 17 video. 2 different metas. Pacifica played the exact same way. So, on control, I don't really like this map because the non-contributors go to B flag. You don't need a cap B flag at all. All you need is A and C, and you can set up a nasty spawn trap while holding A and C. And if you hold A and C, you get power ammo because power ammo spawns outside, not inside. So, a lot worse memories than good. Altar Flame. I think I like this one. I'm going to put it in B. It has a lot longer sightlines and is maybe the first map I think of if I want to use a scout rifle. So I'm going to move past Altar Flame pretty quickly. There are some out of bounds spots that are pretty crazy, by the way. Oh, you know what? I just realized something. Nope. We're moving it down. Reason is because Rumble exists. In Rumble, Altar of Flame is absolute shit. In either corner of the map is one of the hardest spawn traps in the entire game. You can see them in the spawning animation and just empty a whole magazine onto somebody. my opponents on Altar of Flame feel so hopeless that they just jump off the map instead of dueling me. Like, that's how bad it gets on Altar of Flame. Like, borderline, that flaw is almost enough to make me move it to F. I will say, holding not candle spawn, your teammates have a tendency to lane a little bit harder than they should on the blue spawn. On Altar of Flame, that's worth mentioning. I think C tier is fair because Rumble is very, very, very bad on Altar of Flame because of that spawn trap. Okay, finally, a GOAT map. Javelin 4. It's in Fortnite. Why do I like Javelin 4? Because you get in the action quick. You can set up a pretty good spawn trap against pad. And if you're playing like 3s or 4s, you can also spawn trap on C flag too. I will physically show this one off. A lot of like tournament snipers will show clips of spawn killing people on this map, but that doesn't mean it's a bad map. Again, this is a fun tier list, not a competitive tier list. Even though it's spawn trappable, I find it a lot of fun. So Jab does have some elevation. The fight for B flag is very fun to me, despite being a melee zone or a spike nade zone or a trip mine zone. Still fun to duel there. I think rocket control is what you want on this map. Avoid rock wall. You'll see that in a sec. Some would say the best map in the game. You'll understand my callouts as I walk to each area. I look forward to this map in Trials even. I will play Trials just for this map. Okay, so where I just stood. If somebody is standing on this blue street area and puts their back here, and they know that they have a teammate who is waiting that area and this area, you don't even need garage. All you do is put your back here, wait a second, turn, peek, dead. That's a gamer spawning. And you can do the same thing on the other side. Right here, this sight line, block the sight line, peek, they're spawning up right where my scope is. Done. And if they're not there, you gotta get some speed because they're spawning on pad right there. If you're fast enough from the kill feed, you will catch them in the spawn animation. Now, I will say on Rumble, this is a filthy spawn trap right here. One of the best in the game. Altar of Flame is the best in the game, but this one comes pretty close. You will catch someone spawning right here if you just wait by this crate. Slide out, couple shots in. You can farm them with Ace or Vex or Teraba, and they have no chance because you will always have shots on them before they even get to shoot back at you. The other one is you stand right here and they spawn up pad. It's really that tight. You just run it in a circle. If they're not here, they're here. And if you're here and they're not there, they're pad. You just run this bitch in a circle for Rumble. You don't have to leave this area at all on Rumble unless someone else is outscoring you on the other side. Overall, though, I really enjoy this map. This is the rock wall area I'm talking about. Unless it's like Trials a limb and you're trying to make somebody fly out because they're impatient, you don't have to go to rock wall ever. Even if you have a long range weapon, this isn't like benefiting your team that much because of the way that spawns are weighted. There's an awkward spawn waiting where people start spawning at B flag, and that can happen if too many people are at rock wall and not enough people are at B. But ideally, you want to hold this area anyway. This is your power position, holding the rocket sight lines. This jump up is huge. We'll show you 1 or 2 map spots. I think DeFizzle likes to use this one a lot. You can clamber that little rocket edge right there and just wait here. There's some awesome turret spots. You can put a turret right here. You can put a turret on the roof. I think you could still stand on this one. Oh, come on. Maybe I need the sword hilt. Oh, they might have changed it. This map's been out a while. Okay, another thing to mention is this right here. You can get shot through. They see your feet first, so if you're holding this sight line, you're going to snipe so many people because you're going to see their foot before you see their head. So You know exactly where to aim. A weird one right here. You can see through it, but you can't shoot through it. Watch your feet again by this crate. A lot of people camp behind this crate. Don't protect their feet. They get splashed by a nade. You gotta stand behind the crate. Past that, I think I covered this map. This is going in the S tier for me because of the fun factor. You get back in the action, a variety of ranges. Feels like a good arena shooter map. Okay, let's look at the next. Widow's Court. I dislike it in Trials a lot, but in every other game mode, I kind of like it. Widow's Court used to be like the go-to scout rifle map before they started adding other big maps. It's a Dawn Blade's playground, which is maybe why I find so much fun with it. But when Invis and Trials come into play, and sniper rifles come into play, it can become quite the snooze fest. So I think I have a lot of fun in Control, but I have a little bit of fun in Trials, very little fun. And for that reason, I think it's going to equal out to B, despite me kind of liking the map. Vostok. I said we're going to have a bone to pick with Vostok. Let's just load it up. I need y'all to see it. Remember how I talked about non-contributors? This is one of the worst maps for it. Because everybody wants to play tower defense. Now, yes, I did upload a video the other day of showing my Shadebinder doing tower defense. And honestly, I was throwing by staying there. But you know who was throwing more? My opponents, because they kept challenging me. So, you could be either one. You could be the person challenging, you could be the person holding, or you could be the person really mad that your team keeps challenging. I will show you the spawn farm in Rumble too. And there's also some very crazy out of bounds. I think Lonza goes off the wires on a tram spawn. Okay, so first thing to know is the game really likes to spawn people right here. And you could set up some grit heat rises or rumble spawn traps where you're shooting them before they're allowed to leave this area. And like, what do? They're kind of just like stuck in this corner and they can't challenge because someone is always on that turret. The rumble spawn trap, I think, is holding dome. You will always catch a person spawning right here. And you will always catch a person spawning right here. As long as you can manage kill clip or something like that, you can almost always find somebody to use it on. Here's why I hate this map. First of all, syntheceps, AoE grenades, RNG, shotgun fights, all in this cave. And this cave is a huge part of playing this map, unfortunately. Because if you go the long route to the flag, the enemy just caps what you just capped. So if I cap C and move to A to cap A, they cap C before I cap A because I didn't take the shortcut. That's usually how it goes. And if I take the shortcut and my team is not as good and we're skill diffed, well then I get shotgun. Now I'm in the spawn screen. Now we lose. So it's cool that this area exists. I wish it was a little more open, this cave. My biggest problem of this map is B flag. You get non-contributors standing right here, posting up, never moving. Sometimes they put some good score on the board, but usually they don't. Now, the benefit of holding B flag should be power ammo. But the thing is, everyone has sightlines on power. If you really want to. This is a sightline on power, and you spawn there. Spawn near there. And then this can be a sightline on power. You spawn here. So it's really hard to pull power, even if you have B flag. This is an interesting map in Control, but more often than not, I'm just frustrated with my teammates not understanding that we need to slay out to cap the zones, and sitting in B flag all game is not winning us the match because we need more gamers to go to C or A. That's usually how it ends up, so I don't like it. In Rumble, it feels very random because you just never know if the noobs are gonna try to revenge kill whoever's in this tower. It worked in my benefit the last time I posted that video, but It just feels like a bad map in Rumble because it feels really RNG. I high-key think Rumble should be heavy skill-based matchmaking. Just to make it more interesting. When there's weaker players in the lobby and maybe like 2 good players, the mode plays like shit for I think everybody involved. Moving on. Eternity. I kind of like this map. Call it the year 1 nostalgia, or the season 1 nostalgia. I'm playing Countdown on it, but I really do like it. I think that's going to be an A tier for me even. B flag seems a little weird on Eternity to hold. Let's boot it up. Also, you will get Cloud Striked on Eternity before you can get out of your spawn. So I want to show that off. Did I not put Vostok on the list? Okay, let me put that in F tier. Every time I see Vostok, I'm just preparing for more bad memories. Again, this is a list of opinion of what I find the most fun. For some players, playing tower defense in Vostok is fun. More power to you. Not for me. Not with skill-based matchmaking and team balancing, at least. Okay, so some backstory on this map. When this map used to be Countdown, I used to post some weekends of not dropping a single match against some phenomenal teams. That is why this map will always be a favorite for me, even if it doesn't play the best in some modes. So if you spawn on this map and you start standing on A flag, not prepared to shoot somebody, you're gonna get Cloud Striked and you're gonna get 6-pieced. B flag is very awkward to hold on this map. I feel like the spawn waiting puts you at this house area a lot more aggressively than over on back gold by C. So it's almost like B flag is the home flag, not C flag, for the team spawning here. It's easier to get B flag than C. Because if you go to C, I'm going to show you the flaw with C. The flaw with C is that G2 exists. That area I'm shooting at, second floor of G. So if you stand on C, you get to stand behind this little box right here. Get your safety, but you're going to get naded out. It happens all the time. You just sit right here. Pick off the C flag gamers. They don't get to cap that anymore. If you die while standing here, you will spawn right there in safety. So if you're aggressive enough, you can kill the same person twice. This right here should be removed from this map. This little piece of cheese, it causes so much jank. People teleport on this. I do like that it causes some elevation changes, so maybe they should just leave it like partially up all the time. The fact that it's moving is technologically pretty cool, but it just creates way too much jank in this fork. A reason that this wouldn't be S for me is because this map is very exploitable when it comes to trials. Not only are there some crazy out of bounds where you can float all the way to the top ceiling and be like up there type levels, but if you play Behemoth Titans, you can completely close out this area, and unless you have a very specific counter to that, it's going to feel like an uphill battle. The non-contributors on this map like to stand right here with the Jade Rabbit, and they honestly do put up some pretty good numbers doing this, so I wouldn't even really call it a non-contributor if you have both flags. I think you can comfortably hold both A and C simultaneously if you have a semi-decent team. Because if you hold C, you will almost be able to slide this corner and catch somebody spawning up into this sightline. And on the flip side, you can... I already said you could do that on A, where they spawn in safety behind it. And kind of do it. I think hold AC on this map is all I'm trying to say. Let's move on to the next. Don't want to repeat myself too much. Eternity, I put A. Reduced waiting. Do I like Bannerfall? I think I do like it in Rift. It's not as bad as I thought it was in Rift after I played it some more. Do I like it in Rumble? No, I don't like it in Rumble. I'm going to show you why. In Trials, I really don't like this map. So I think that's going to be the tiebreaker. Rumble, I dislike it. Trials, I really dislike it. Every other game mode, I'm so-so. Rift, I do like it. So I think that's good enough for a C tier for me. I hate this map in Trials, especially Freelance Trials, Bannerfall. That is a way to make me lose all of my hair, including my beard. Okay, so why don't I like this map in Trials, in Freelance? Because everybody thinks they're a goated sniper and they go like this, and then they lose every single round. If you have Sight and Ramparts or Kepri Sting, you're allowed to take this challenge. If you're a literal top 1% player, goated, you're allowed to take this challenge. Everyone else, including myself, fuck this catwalk. Go somewhere else. In Rumble, though, this catwalk is instrumental to setting up a spawn trap. If you're a Titan, you barricade so you can't get sniped. Now, all you do is you wait for the noob to spawn up. Don't be this noob if you watch my channel. I'm going to teach you how not to be a noob. You spawn right here. What is the first thing a noob does? Oh, a bridge! And then they jump towards the bridge. They're caught with AE. And now the person just shoots you 3 times with the hand cannon. You die. And guess where you spawn up? You spawn up right here again. And guess what the noob does? Oh, he just got lucky. I can take him this time. Oh no, AE. And you lose again. And now they have Ace of Spades, Memento Mori. And then you spawn up here again. And this is where they get smart. They reposition a little bit. They might go behind like this pillar. And so now the noob thinks, alright, I'm not going to jump up. I'm just going to run across. And they still get clapped by somebody spawn farming. I promise you, I can win a Rumble match trapping someone in this corner for the entire match on Bannerfall. It's pretty bad. Okay, so why don't I like this in Trials is because the bases are way too easy to camp. These choke points make it so where the match almost always goes to cap point right here, despite there being so many cool angles and elevations to hold on this map. The bases just absolutely ruin it for me. I think that's it. In Control, I really don't have too many complaints. In Rift, I like it. Believe it or not, I like it in Rift. Rumble, I hate it. In Trials, I really hate it. That's the recap. So Bannerfall C tier. Midtown. This is going to be another S tier. I fucking love this map. Not so much in Control, but in all the other game modes, I very much like it. And I'm going to debatably show you some crazy spots here. I'm just going to show you some basic ones first. I could make a whole 30-minute video on just Midtown. So this wasn't always S tier for me. I grew to like it over the years, despite maybe not liking it as much at first. Some history of this map. This is Bungie's competitive baby. This is where they probably did all of their testing for everything. This is Countdown's original map. This is Double Primary's original map. This is Slow Movement Speed's original map. Everything was tuned around that gameplay, and you can still see remnants of that in the way it's played today. There are so many out-of-map spots that have been there since beta. I'll show you the one I found. These little nubs right here, you can stand on. These AC unit things. Those count too. If you glacier, you can actually get into the apartments. This map does have a non-contributor problem, don't get me wrong. I know chat's gonna say that. I agree. I consider these public knowledge at this point. This is the best one for Trials, but you have to be very fast at it. A lot of people don't know you can stand here. Even less people know you can stand here. Now you have an open sight line before they're allowed to get out of the spawn. On the flip side, as you can see from my Dawn Blade plays, if you're a top tree Dawn, you can also shove the other team in a locker, so you can gain your advantage back by just playing this subclass. You spawn in the little cafeteria area. Bump that, of course, but you can already see, before they even jump up to that sightline to set up, I'm already looking at people crossing, and then I have enough time to snap correct up top. I cover both those options with heat rises, so honestly it plays out fine despite that being a thing. Now what I like about this map is I feel like I can run almost any loadout. If I go SMG, I'm just playing rugs the whole time. If I go scout, I'm playing power ammo the whole time. The issue with non-contributors on this map is two areas. The first area is sandbags and columns. Teammates, for some reason, think that that is the only part of the map that they're allowed to play on. And the worst part is somebody just sits up here with a good scout rifle and farms your team with multiple score multiplier from having CB. The second place for non-contributors is right here. They will be spawn trapped in garden, and they will stand right here. That's plan A, B, and C, and D, and E, and F for this player. They stand right here and just put damage in and think that's enough to change their fate. It's not. You have to push out and you have to get angles. You can't just stand here and lane the arches. You're gonna get spawn trapped even harder in garden. Oh, here is one. Another one. Y'all better subscribe to this channel. Like the video. Tell your friends. These are some good spots. You can also stand on this tree even though it's not really useful. There's a lot more map spots. I'm not going to go into them because this is supposed to be a tier list. So Midtown is getting S despite me not liking it on some game modes. In Rumble, Garden can be spawn farm pretty hard, and Columns can be spawn farm pretty hard, where they will always spawn behind this sandbag. Remember how I showed you on Bannerfall, the noob trap is they always jump up to bridge? It's the same thing in Garden. So if you're holding this crate, and you kill your person off taco truck or whatever, they're going to spawn over here. And what the noob thinks is, I should probably jump over this. And then they jump and they get domed by someone standing right there. So instead of just walking, sliding into your gunfight, they just, in sprint animation, jump, weapons not even ready, AE penalty, get farmed by that guy right there. And they will do it for 5 deaths in a row. And you will be over farming Columns, wondering how the hell your opponent got 5 kills faster than you. Okay, moving on. Just did Midtown. Let's do... Oh, that's a... Putting in enough. Putting in enough. Let me show you why. I hate this map with a passion. I really hate it in Trials. I dislike it in Rumble. I don't really know any other game modes. Control also plays bad. I can't solo slay out enough to make a difference for my team on this map, no matter how good I do. Seems hopeless every time. As far as the fun tier list, this is an unfun map. And my reasoning is, if somebody wants to disengage and run away from you, they can run in a circle. And in that circle, every single angle is chaperone range. And they can do it while capping flags too. That's the worst part. I think that if you were on Seaside, it's going to be harder to get B because this is your choke point. Look, you have one choke point to get into B flag. Look at what A flag has. A flag has this door, and this sight line in safety from the other side to handle B. All C flag has is this puny ass door to get B flag. It's not happening. If you have C, you're not getting B. So first of all, it's already lopsided. I will say a positive note on this map, like a very positive note. If you are a practiced Dawnblade user, this is such a Giga Brain map. There are so many ways you can separate yourself from the other Dawnblade by just knowing how to hit people through cracks in the wall with heat rises. Like, for example, a lot of people lane on this ramp area, just float right here, take their face off. For this map to be playable to me, the flags would have to move, and all of this congestion has to open up a little bit. I know their thinking is they want some like SMG shotgun to have a place on this map, but my issue is as long as they play non-confrontational, you can't beat an SMG shotgun on this map. The only other time that changes is the non-contributors taking the lane wars right here. This is it. This is your scout sniper players, and this is your shotgun players. The duality of maps. Overall, this map just, it creates a lot of frustration because I can't slay out enough to make a difference. It feels like I pretty much have to run SMG Witherhorde on it. It's going to be my similar problem with Cauldron. Okay, Wormhaven, that's going A tier. I really like that map. I really like it in Trials too, even though it does go to zone almost every round. Not my fault though. Wormhaven I can explain very simply. It has its elevation points. I don't like the glass being a little too narrow at B flag. But it rewards winning mid control. It rewards playing aggressive. You can set up some nasty spawn traps, and it doesn't feel hopeless completely if you lose out on B flag, because you can retake it. There are so many interesting angles outside on Garden looking in on B. So many ways a top tree Dawn can claw back at the match. You can use Invis to get some very interesting flanks and some good radar baits on that map. It just plays like a good arena shooter map to me. That's why I like it. In Rumble, Wormhaven does have an okay spawn trap. It's definitely not like the rest of these offenders, and it can be disrupted pretty well by a good player. So that's gonna be A for me. I'm just gonna skip showing you the map. Burnout. Alright, despite me not really liking it from a competitive sense, I do enjoy it most of the time. I really do. I look forward to Burnout. But I am going to put it B. And my only reason I'm putting it B is because the non-contributors leave a bad taste in my mouth because they lane on the beach, with the beach being the bad flag. Power ammo spawns at, is it Temple or Throne? I think Throne is on the beach, and we're gonna load up the map. I think it's worth showing because I can save some noobs today. Oh my goodness. I shit you not. I remember how I said I had something about Pacifica on hand? I have something about Burnout on hand. Okay, so look at how this plays out. I made a mistake of going to B flag right at the beginning, but that was just to make the enemy team think I was going to B and promote some movement. I tapped the flag and then went right back to mid and started dueling to win my team a flag. And I lose the initial, my team loses the initial, and now we're stuck on beach spawn. Beach spawn is a death sentence in any game mode. It's a death sentence in Trials. It's a death sentence in a tournament. It's a death sentence in Control. It's a death sentence in Rumble. You do not want to be out here. You are wasting your time out here because the enemy doesn't have to peek you. That's the truth of it. You get one flag. They get two flags and power ammo. And they don't have to have a scout rifle. They can keep SMGs inside. So if you are standing right here, you are throwing the match, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go look at that gameplay. Let's go see what Giga Brain move I did to save this match. So I failed trying to take inside by myself multiple times, and I'm wondering why I'm not getting any team help. Oh, look, someone not playing the game. It gets funnier, I promise. So I lose again. I try to take inside again. I lose again. Did we finally get it? Okay. There's a part of this where I shoot one of my sniper teammates. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Look, I'm shooting this player. It's way too funny. Look, I'm shooting this player because he's laning in the back. I'm like, dude, you're making this unplayable. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm not even live commentating this. This is just like silent gameplay. I'm shooting that player and then shooting where I want him to go. And guess what happened after that player left the back? Anyone want to guess what happened? How just the match immediately flips into my favor? We roll the shit out of this team as soon as that player leaves the back of the map. The reason that this is labeled extract holding a setup is because the enemy team did something really cool that you would never see outside of skill-based matchmaking. Let's see if I can pause it when I see like 4 of them at once. This right here is something you just don't see in non-skill-based matchmaking game mode. To have more than 3 players in this tube area, that doesn't happen. You know why? Because all the fucking noobs are on the beach, not contributing to the match. Again, I have to say it's about fun, not competitiveness, but sometimes having the match not mercy is fun. And that's why I'm a little harsh here. You can be a new player, you can be bad at the game, you can find it fun sniping, you can find it fun playing with the scout. I just think if you want the match to not mercy when you're subject to team balancing, you have to leave this area to make the match playable. It is what it is. I hope that makes sense, micro rant aside. I also mentioned earlier how to play control correctly. It's about map control, not necessarily capturing points. So did I already place Burnout? Burnout's B tier. So even despite that huge flaw in the weighting of Beach is bad, I still like Burnout. You know how I said the cheese on Eternity in a fork led to a lot of jank interactions? But these wheels also have their fair share of jank interactions, but I like these wheels a lot. Like, a lot. I like that this will give a hand cannon shotgun player an opportunity to cross the map without getting completely clapped by snipers. And so all you do if you're trying to retake this is you look at this door and you just wait for it to close. Wait for it to fully close. And when it finally closes, then you slide in. Then you take your hallways back. If you're a competitive team trying to play this map to win, bridge control matters. It's my tip. Oh, the GOAT. Putting that one in A tier. This is a good player bias. I'm so sorry, Reddit, if you quote me out of context in this one. I am so sorry. I know that everyone gets spawn trapped. I know that it's really fucking frustrating to get spawn trapped on dead cliffs. But besides the spawn trap, I actually like the map. It's just they need to change the spawn weighting, that's it. Even with the bad spawn weighting though, I like dead cliffs in every mode except for Rumble. I also learned some good turrets to defeat the campers, so I sort of like solved my own problems that I had with dead cliffs by just getting good. So, I think this one is worth showing everybody. This is another graduating my noobs type moment. Dead cliffs is the deadliest spawn trap in the entire game. The matchup, it's like 90-10. If you're on A flag, you ain't winning this shit. You're not getting out. You gotta be like tournament team coordination to win off of A flag, or it's just a mismatch. Assuming like both equally skilled teams, if you're on A flag, you just fucking lost. And I'll tell you why you lost. The reason you lost is because of non-contributors on A flag, but they might not know any better. Alright, how to lose this map 101. If you hold this sightline and don't move for 10 seconds, you lost the match. Because what you're doing is you are anchoring your team to only spawn right here. This is the only place your teammates can spawn if you are laning right here. I don't know why this is the case, but it is. So now let's graduate from noobs. How do we prevent this? Speed kills. We fly the fuck out. If there's a good opposing team, they will stand in this area to try to snipe you as you come to this door. So now you have to play patient. You have to just wait. They're going to cap B. They're going to cap C. You are starting from a disadvantage. You just got to wait until you get some kills on the board. Prey on their impatience. Just sit here. Wait for them to push. Wait for power ammo to come up to have people have a reason to move. That's when you start fighting. Once you get enough kills in the kill feed, now you push up. This is phase 2 of the plan. Phase 2 is do that shit again, except right here. The opponents will spawn right here when you kill them the first time from A flag to power. So in that time, you have moved up to this hallway, this dark hall, and you are ready to fight again right here. And you have to win again. After you win the C flag take, it's not over yet. Because if you have a noob laning in trucks and you die on C flag, guess where you're spawning? That's right, you're spawning back in the school. So the way to prevent this is you have to win a 3rd time in a row. Let's recap what had to go correct for you. So you had to play patient on A, slay the fuck out on power ammo or the dark street or whatever. Then you're in this hallway, you killed the spawners again, and now phase 3 of the plan. Phase 3 is to do it for a 3rd time on B flag. Only then, if you did it by yourself, will the game decide to start throwing them in A flag. So pretty much to flip the spawn on your own, you have to get 3 consecutive team wipes by yourself and then hope that 1 or 2 of your teammates die on A flag at the same time. It's not happening by yourself. So this map is utterly hopeless if you spawn A and get team balanced. You're not winning. Even despite that though, I find this map hella fun. I will maud about it and I will complain in stream, but this is one of my favorites. Again, this is a fun tier list. As long as my opponents aren't popping off being like egotistical pricks about this map when they know it's one-sided, we're good. Keep it in the game. We know it's one-sided. Okay, let's go for the last one. Removed anomaly. Remove Cauldron. Remove convergence. Let's rate these ones for fun since we're here. Convergence is F tier because it has one of the most aggressive rumble spawn traps where you can shoot a person before they're allowed to hop off of the initial spawn. It'll spawn you like elevated where if you try to go backwards, you just fall off a cliff. And if you go forward, you have to drop off of height. And so you'll just get AE'd while the other player just hits you for 3 headshots. Convergence has some pretty nasty spawn traps and too tight of choke points to get out of the spawn trap. It's really hard to slay yourself out of convergence. And if the team wipes you, you spawn on the opposite side in another spawn trap. It only takes like 2 or 3 players to keep you completely pinned down. All 6 of you pinned down on convergence. That's why it's F. Even in Rift, I hate this map with a passion. I'm glad it's removed. Cauldron. F tier. Why? Because of the doors. If the doors didn't exist, there would be more agency to make plays without having the door give away your position. Or take away your ability to follow up a kill. If the doors could be if the door area could be even wider and more open too, that would be even better. Anomaly. The rotator belt is kind of cool. I'm putting it in B. I like Endless Vale if we're talking the short range map over Anomaly because Anomaly heavily favors Wither Horde, Stompies, and other things with the low ceilings and AoE nades. And somehow, despite this supposedly being an SMG shotgun map, snipers still run your shit in Anomaly. To the point where if there's someone good enough, you're never flinching them off the target, and you're always just looking at the spawn screen, despite it's supposed to be a close quarters map. If you're trying to win Anomaly, don't be afraid to bring a pulse rifle and sit on catwalk the whole time. You are not contributing because that is where power ammo spawns. It is so difficult to get B flag on Anomaly, but you can cap it by jumping under B flag to get it. Pretty much once a team caps B flag, unless a super can like bubble the point early or something, the enemy team isn't getting it back, and it's pretty much one-sided. Once catwalk control is established, I think Anomaly is a wrap. It's really hard to come back from that. Anyway, I think this is my tier list. I think that's all of them. So let's recap here. It's a fun tier list, not a competitive tier list. That's first and foremost. A lot of these maps are salvageable if the spawn weighting and the spawn system and the spawn locations change. A lot of these maps are salvageable if some quirks of the game modes change or the game modes change entirely. Like in Rumble, you could add 2 more players and suddenly a lot of these maps are popping. Disjunction goes from F tier to A or S tier if it's Rift. Rift is really fun in Disjunction. It's just so unfun in the other maps that it deserves the F tier to me. I think Exodus Blue, maybe with like some special weapon nerfs in the future, would play a little bit better. Vostok needs a specialist game mode for Vostok. Countdown was fine. Survival play is kind of weird. Dead Cliffs needs the spawn waiting looked at badly. It shouldn't be removed though just because of it. And for my S tier choices, honestly, Bungie needs to start doing some double EXP weekend things that tie in with some map rotations. Like you see how Clash is the rotator right here? What if the rotator was endless Vale or Javelin forever? And that was just all you got. Only Javelin 4, only Endless Vale, and it was a special game mode or something for Crucible Labs. Like, that would be so sick. Get extra EXP, get extra rewards, get guaranteed 3-column guns. So now, looking at this rotation, a lot of my F tier maps appear a little too frequently, which is why I get the quitter penalty way more often than I should. And I end up playing more Osu than I should. A lot of pros and cons on this one, but there it is. There's the list. Again, this was a fun factor list. If Reddit is quoting me out of context, it is what I find the most fun, not most competitive. Javelin 24/7. What else was I going to mention before on this one? Oh, yes. So, a problem I have with the map rotation is not having enough time to set up my character to deal with the map appropriately. So let's say I queue up Control. Launch a match. I'm expecting Javelin 4 and I get Disjunction. Well, if I'm staying in the match, I need a long range option. And so what I have to do is I have to switch all of my mods to a scout rifle mod. I have to go to dim. I have to grab my dead man's tail. Just doesn't matter which one it is. Grab my dead man's tail and I have to change all my mods because I wanted to play with an SMG today and I'm not going to be able to do that on Disjunction, at least not with double primary or not with a special weapon. So, how do I solve this? How do I make the map pool more inviting to me? My solution is farming multiple armor sets. And I know that's not a beautiful solution because in Lightfall, Bungie is going to make it so we have loadout selection where you can just click one button and it changes everything about your character. Since we don't have that technology right now, this is the next best thing. Oh no, Disjunction's queuing up. Better take off my Peacekeeper build. Better take off my SMG build. And let's go put on my Scout Rifle build. And with one click of a button, or rather with just switching all my gear, look. Everything swapped over. It worked. And then I go like this. And now I have my build ready to go within like 10 seconds. It's pretty sick, right? I think everybody should farm an alternate armor set if you have the vault space. I think it's worth making the vault space just to have the game more playable in PvP. Let me show you another one. This one's pretty cool. My bread and butter setup is Inteya Sword. Watch how quick it is. Boom. We got him. Pretty sick. And I have weapons dedicated to each of those builds. One is hand cannon, one is SMG, one is pulse rifle. Let's go show off the Warlock. I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow, by the way, that goes very deep into exactly why I chose everything. This is my hand cannon sniper build. This is my hand cannon shadebinder. This is my pulse rifle shadebinder. So you see how this works, right? Now what I need to get, I should show you my Lumina too. My Lumina is pretty sick. My Arc Lumina. Let's go. So what I need to get on my Warlock now is a scout rifle build. I used to use my Ophidians with symmetry, and I still might do that. I might actually turn my Ophidian build into a pure symmetry build, because that build is really good and people just don't use it. I think you need Ophidians to make symmetry good because the handling is abysmal. But I am thinking I go Heat Rises on Control Glide, taking y'all's suggestion from yesterday's video, or the one before that, with the Wings of Sacred Dawn. I'm just going to hip fire the whole time with the BXR Battler, and that'll be my medium range option. I think this will be badass. And then for Scout Rifle, I'm probably going to go Secant Filaments on Void to use Devour. Going on streaks with DMT is just way too satisfying not to do. I think that's the end of the video though, so I hope I made some sense. I hope that you didn't perceive this as too disrespectful to players who aren't good at the game. I respect your struggle. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to be a teacher. I'm trying to lead by example on this one. But there's also skill-based matchmaking. And it's almost offensive to see somebody in the skill-based matchmaking system be throwing matches this hard. So I'm just trying to change that. Anyhow, I will see y'all in the next one. This was really fun to record on twitch.tv/CammyCakes. Let's see how long this recording is. Holy shit, an hour and 22 minutes. I'm getting some ad revenue today.